I'm Aaron Mehta.
And I'm Lee Ferran.
We're here to talk about sea air space, Lee.
Finally, sea air space is here.
Finally, it's here. It's April, and that means one thing: National Harbor,
Right.
Maryland.
I was about to say, spring, but yeah, that too.
It's beautiful. Look, this is actually going to be an interesting show, I think, for a couple of reasons. The first is it's the first conference where we might actually have a lot of military attendance in the last couple of months.
So we saw a space conference not too long ago was fairly sparsely populated because of the travel restrictions sent down by the White House and the Secretary of Defense. But this show seems like they've gotten permission.
Yeah, the Navy has said, hey, we're on, but we're going to see some impacts no matter what, because people would have maybe changed their travel plans under the different guidance. We actually know Naval Aviation is kind of scaling back its presence.
Right, they put out a statement that they'll be there. The senior leaders will be there. They'll be involved in panels, but they're not going to have a booth like they normally would. So scaling back, but still present. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and of course that'll apply to industry too. We're going to be watching closely to see if industry seems like it's got a smaller footprint than it maybe would have had a couple of months ago.
Sure. And one thing that we're going to watch really, really closely, always related to industry, is some potentially big news about a Navy fighter jet, the next generation air dominance fighter, NGAD, but not the Air Force's NGAD. This is the Navy's NGAD called FAXX.
They just hate me by naming them both NGAD.
I think it's you personally.
Yeah. So FAXX is what we're going to call it. That's the Navy's next-gen aircraft. There had been a report from Reuters that it was going to drop last week as we filmed this a couple of days ahead of the show. It still has not come out. We've heard that it may or may not come out before the conference. Obviously, if the Navy announces this is our next-generation fighter jet, that's going to be the dominant story at the show. If it doesn't happen, it's still going to be a dominant story.
Yeah, because there's even a panel with Northrop and Boeing and Navy officials, and they're the two competitors, not publicly confirmed competitors.
Yeah, this is a fine thing, right? A lot of the competitors have not actually officially been listed as competitors, but we know they're in it from public statements and things like that.
And so you can expect that panel to have a fairly packed audience. Another event we're expecting to have a pretty packed house is the first real big public address by the new Navy Secretary, John Phelan.
Yeah, that's right. So Phelan was confirmed just a couple of weeks ago. He's kind of an unusual pick for this role. No real naval experience, best known as an entrepreneur and art collector. Right. Personally, I'd love to see his collection if anybody can make that happen. But this is going to be a chance for him to speak. And as we've seen in a couple of conferences already this year, when there hasn't been a confirmed Trump official, it's been a sense of, well, we don't really know what they're going to say. We have to be cautious about what we're saying. Now we have a chance to actually hear from somebody who's going to be able to say, this is what I want the Navy doing. This is my mission. I think he's going to be speaking to the media, to industry, but especially to the actual members of the Navy.
Yeah, the sailors who are there are going to want to hear what's the direction that the Navy is sailing in for the next few years, you might say. So we're going to keep an eye on those major stories. Obviously, a lot of other news is going to pop up. It's already started. We're even a few days ahead of time right now. Playing lead for us on the show floor will be one Justin Katz, our naval reporter. And if you see him, you got to say,
make sure you say ahoy. He loves it.
He really does love it. And go to breakingdefense.com early and often. Like and subscribe to these videos so you can get them in your inbox. We'll have wrap-up videos
every day
at the show.
Yep.
So check back early and often. We'll see you then.